Hey guys, and welcome to the second part in building out the mobile navigation. If you haven't already watched part 1, there's a card up on the top right now where we look at styling this whole mobile navigation using Flexbox, and in this video we're going to animate the whole thing using jQuery. And then at the very end of the video I go back into the CSS to fix a mistake that I made with my navigation when I go to add a hover effect in there, and I run into a little issue, and so we fix that too. What I'm going to do is create the hamburger menu and then make the hamburger menu work, so when I click it, it makes what we're seeing now on the screen appear and disappear. I'm just going to actually give this a right value of 100%. No, not right, left. 0. Left is 100%. There we go. So that's sort of the animation that I want to happen. So you can just see there. It's going to slide out, and 100%. When you click the button, it will slide away like that. But obviously I don't want to see all my text and stuff sticking out the sides here either. So because that's a bit of a problem, we do need an overflow none. Hidden. I always do none. Hidden. There we go. So that will hide that away so it doesn't get in our way. Now what I'm going to do is come down here. This markup, this commenting here, if you're not used to Sass, this is a Sass only comment. It won't show up in the CSS. Just do a mobile or hamburger menu. So what I'm going to do for my hamburger menu, there's a few things. I'm actually going to have to jump into the HTML to start this off, and I'm going to come in here to create my hamburger menu. So I'm going to have a nav toggle, and inside of that I'm going to have a hamburger. Whoops, I want that to be a small h. There we go, and that's it. So nothing should change right now. Good. In my nav, let's come back to here. So my hamburger menu. We are going to do a few different things. So I have my nav toggle first. My nav toggle is what you actually click on to make it appear and disappear. So let's just do a display block and give it a background of pink for now so we can see it, and some padding of, I'll just do 1em right now just so I can see things. I want to see, there's my box, so good, it's working. And now I need to position it. So position will be absolute, and right will be 0, top will be 0. I'll just do a right of 1em and a top of 1em. There we go. That's more or less where I want it. I'm not worried about the shape or the size of it because once I put my hamburger menu in there, it's going to change a little bit. And I'm going to change my cursor to pointer. So when I put my mouse on top, well, if it was a mouse icon, it would turn into a pointer. Just to show you what I'm talking about. You can see now it's turning into that. So if we did see it, it would turn into that. Okay, cool. That's it, I think, for there. Now what I want to do is style my hamburger. So hamburger, hamburger. And for this, I also need my hamburger before and my hamburger after, because we're going to use a few pseudo classes or elements, pseudo elements, to populate this. Display will be block. Let's go with a width of 2em, a height of 3 pixels, and a background of white. And there we go. You can see those are starting to come in. The only problem is they're sort of overlapping each other and all of that. So I need to change how they're positioned. So I'm going to use my hamburger before. Will be the first one I do. This one will get a transform and a it's not there, translate x, y, x, up and down is y, translate y. Because I'm using a height of 3 pixels, I want to move it up by 3 pixels, so minus 3 pixels. And you saw it move up, except it didn't move up enough. I want it to be separated. 6. There we go. So it should be 3 pixels, then an empty space of 3 pixels, and then my 3 pixels there. And then that's it. I'm going to copy this whole thing and paste it and put after here. Except I don't want -6 now. I want +6, or is it +3? +3. I always mix those up. So there we go. You can see that's all there. I can turn off my background pink now. I don't need that anymore. And it's actually positioned pretty much where I wanted it to be. So that worked out really well. Cool. Now what's going to happen? When I click on the hamburger, we want it to rotate and all of that. Let's start by creating our JavaScript file. Yeah, I'm going to make my... Do I already have one actually? No, I didn't have it. Did I link to it already? I think I have my link already. I just didn't create it. Oh, I never even linked to it. Okay. And I'm going to be using jQuery for this, so I also have to link to jQuery. I forgot to do all that. I generally just take the this one here, minified, and grab all of that, and close, and paste that in. There's other people that host it too. You can get it off Google and all of that. So I'll close there. So that's good. And I also want to link to my own. And I'm going to put a few comments in here actually. This is my jQuery. I have font awesome. Font awesome. And all the way at the bottom is usually where I put my own scripts. So we'll throw those in there. So I need a script. src is equal to js/scripts.js. Close script. Save that file and make where I had my new file. We'll save that as JS, and we'll call it scripts.js. We might as well start with the best practice document ready. Whoops, ready. So when the document is ready, we want to do a function. And this is where we'll put everything. Now, I've put my jQuery link already, my JavaScript, my own link all the way at the bottom. So technically speaking, this shouldn't work until the document is ready anyway, but this will make sure that the whole document is loaded before it starts trying to do my scripts, just to make sure this doesn't slow down the loading of my page at all. So what I'm going to do is we want to, and I'm going to split this to the bottom actually, split down. I usually work with a split screen left and right, but I like being able to look at things as I'm working on them. Main nav, there we go. So I want to select, what do I want to select? I want to select main nav. And what do I want to do? Main clav on click. We want to do a function. Function. And the function will be, what will be my function? My function is when I click on it, we will select this. So we want to select our main nav, and we want to we want to toggle class. And I'm going to create this. Now I'm going to call it, we want to toggle class is open. Let's save that and let's test it out to see if it works. And I click on it. It should be logo main nav is here. It's not working, but something is changing, and I'm not getting a console log error. Let's go look at my console because it's not working. Okay, guys, I'm really dumb. I don't know why I selected main nav here. Let's go and try and fix that to put a nav toggle instead, because that's what we're clicking on. Save that. And yeah, we can see there it's adding in the is open class. So that was not smart of me, but at least it's working. Okay, so I did everything right. Let's just put in a little comment here so, if this gets more involved, we know what's going on. Hamburger menu toggle. Okay, so let's close my scripts, and now we just have to come in here with more in our CSS. So what do I want to look at? I want to say when oh no, I did that wrong. I sort of had it right. I have to open up scripts again. JS. Sorry, I don't want this. I want to select when I click on this, I want to add the class to my main nav. Okay, so when I click on this, my main nav gets the is open. There we go. That makes more sense. So let's close that now. Because the reason I just thought of that is I want to, where is it? Toggle nav. I want my nav toggle is open to have a, not my nav toggle. Oh guys, I'm not doing good here. I want it to be all the way up here, my main nav. So my main nav is open, gets a left of 0. There we go. Hey guys, it's working. Super. And I want to animate that. I just don't want it to appear and disappear like that. So let's just come up to my main nav and add a transition on there. So transition, I'll just do an all ease in out, and we'll do 250 milliseconds. Let's see how that looks. That looks pretty good, I think. Whoop, whoop. There we go. Awesome. Cool. I'm happy. That was nice and easy. The only thing left to do is my hamburger menus. So my hamburger menu, except my hamburger is not inside. We're also going to add the class to my hamburger. I keep closing scripts here. So main nav toggle class is open. Dot hamburger will also get an is open. Main nav is getting it, and whoops, my hamburger is also open. Okay, so actually let's leave that open so we can see that this is working. So my hamburger is open. Will actually, this should not go here. This should come up to, actually I don't have anything that's just hamburger. Okay, we'll do it at the bottom. My hamburger is open. Gets a transform, rotate, we'll go with a 45 degrees. Cool. And then what I want to do is I want to say my, actually, because this should work, hamburger is, actually, what am I doing? I can just do after. We'll do after. Rotate, transform, rotate 90 degrees. So it sort of makes that X that we can see coming together there. And my before gets a display of none. And look at that, perfecto. I think that looks awesome. So when I click that, it should go normal, and you can see it's jumping back and forth between the two. The only thing that I want is I don't want, again, I don't want to jump. I want it to sort of fade in and out. So on here, we can add our Transition, all ease in, out, 250 milliseconds as well. So now it should animate. I don't like the animation actually, that it's swinging too far, that 90, it's going the wrong way. They're both rotating the same way, so I find it looks really weird. What if I do a negative 90 on here instead of... So yeah, that looks a bit better. They're sort of crossing each other now instead. I'll just show you what I did. Let's slow that down a little bit. Let's make that like 1 second. And I'll put this back to 90. So when they're both going the same way, I find that, see the way that they're spinning there? It looks a little odd to me. You can also see the top thing is just disappearing when it clicks. And it's because my display is going to none. Let's change the opacity on that instead. Opacity 0. That should, but then that shifts it down. That's okay. It's just getting in the way. So I think if I do, if I remember right, negative, just to push it back to where, oh, whoops. You can't have multiple transforms on something. Well, you can, but you just, -6. Why is that moving? Oh, whoa, I did that on the wrong thing. Cut, paste. And again, I think that should be a 3. That's moving it that way. Is it an X that I wanted? Oh, there we go. So that should make the other thing fade in and out too, which I think looks a little nicer. So you can see they're both turning in the same direction, and I don't really like the way that they're both turning there in the same direction. I find it looks kind of weird. So that's just why I prefer coming in here and doing this one as a -90. So it spins in the opposite direction. And now this is the wrong way too. There we go. Okay. So it sort of just makes them cross each other like you would expect it to happen. And now obviously that animation is way too slow. So let's bring that back to 250. 250, save. And there we go. I think that looks really good. It comes in, it comes out, it's working perfectly. The only thing I could add in here is a hover effect for these, so we might as well do that, even though it most of the time probably won't do much, but we can do it anyway. So we'll do an A and an A. Let's just, might as well do it the SAS way, and hover. Oops, that should be indented actually. And hover. So when that's hovering, it will get a background, and I'm just going to do an RGBA, and I'll show you why in a second. RGBA, again, I'll make it darker, so 0, 0, 0, and just do 0.10. We'll see what this looks like. We'll also give that a focus. Hover and focus, just so I can tab through. Oh, that's not going to work. What if I did that on my list items instead? Can I do it on my list items? I don't see why not. Oh, except I can't. I can have a hover effect on it, but we can't have a focus on it. But you can see it's working. The focus won't do anything because we can't focus on them, sadly. But that does give us this hover effect, and the advantage with doing the RGBA instead of giving it a specific color is, if I later decided I don't like this background color and I actually wanted to use my main color, it's still going to darken and it's going to stay with that. Or if I want to darken my secondary, and it still works perfectly fine. And I'm going to stick with accent. Okay, this is me a little bit from the future because when I was editing this, I was ashamed of myself a little bit, and I made a huge UX mistake. This is a really big one, guys. I'm embarrassed by this one. I put the hover on the list items instead of on my links, and that's terrible because if someone is looking at this and they're hovering over, this looks like you can click on the whole bloody thing. And even if I didn't see this hover effect, if I was on a mobile screen, I wouldn't really be focused on clicking on the word home. That looks like a big ass button that I can just click on with my finger. So, this looks like the link just doesn't work. I'm clicking, it looks like the link is broken. You have to go onto that little thing here, this little space, to click on it. That's terrible. Why would you do that? This is things that I get mad at other people for doing. I've actually seen buttons that are sort of done like this, and I've been so angry that somebody was so lazy to do that, and I almost did that. And I'm really ashamed of myself for that, actually. Luckily, it's really easy to fix. I'm going to put a background color on my link just so we can see how this is going to work. So I'm going to do a background of light blue so we can see that come in. Okay, so what I actually am going to do is take off this align items and justify content because I don't actually need that on there. That was a mistake on my part. I wasn't looking far enough ahead on this one. So when I save that, you can see they're actually taking up the full height now. And the reason for that is by default, flexing things sort of grow to take up the whole space. But this align item center would stop it from doing that. So I can take that off. The justify content I also don't need. And I'm going to hit save. Now, this is where things with Flexbox are a little bit weird, but we'll see how it works in a second. I want this to grow to take up that whole space, so I'm going to do a flex basis of 100% just to make sure it takes up that whole space. Now, what I was saying was a little bit weird is to get this to go right in the middle. You wouldn't necessarily think that you could do this because the text is inside of the A tag, so the text isn't another tag. Like here, I'm doing a flex and it's changing my link into a flex, but I can actually do a display flex on here. So I'm doing a display flex on my link. And then what I want to do is do an align items center. And it centers it vertically. So even though this is just text inside of a link, I can still have it do that. And now you can see that I can click on that whole area. And now I can do my justify content center. So I'm just taking that align items and that justify content that I had on my list item, and I'm bringing it down and putting it on my A. It's just really important that I also have the display flex on my A or those won't work. And now they're perfectly centered. I might as well take this hover effect off of here and drop it onto here. So they will get darker, and I can take this light blue background off. And there we go. It's working perfectly. Awesome. Super, super happy with that. So yeah, I can... Again, really nice thing with Flexbox is you can do this align items, even if it's not on another, it's affecting other tags, it's affecting the content that's inside of that A. So now that whole space is actually clickable, so I could come in. I don't have anywhere for these to go, but if they did go somewhere, the whole thing is a clickable link now. So whatever you do, don't do what I almost did and make a little link inside of a big thing that looks like you can click on it. Yeah, that pretty much wraps up this video. I do hope that you liked it. If you did, awesome possum. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. There should be a little box right on the side there with my face on it. You can click on to subscribe. There's also another video up there that if you liked this one and you've liked this series so far, you probably like that video that is highlighted right there. Also hit the thumbs up before you click on the next video. Until the next video, take it easy.